So you'd be dealing with people.
Ma'am, I'm still cool as a cucumber.
Namaste programs. What's going on? Let's watch
the assets. One of them they wanted to
Diablo
is that
Fireside
Monaco
Chat
Maps
here.
comes in with a couple of solutions already ready.
Can you get it to do it? Why doesn't it show up in my following list over here?
But I cannot do this alone.
Viewers.
My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Chosen of the Malignant. The Malignant.
Hello, Diablo community. Welcome to another Diablo 4 Campfire Chat. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the Associate Director of Community here for Diablo. I'm joined here by Joe Shelley, Game Director of Diablo 4, and Mr. Joe Paipora, the Associate Game Director for Diablo 4. We have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we have this Campfire Chat because we do want to talk about the patch that just released this past week, which is patch 1.10. We've seen a ton of feedback. We've heard a lot of feedback. And so we do want to go through, you know, a lot of the points of feedback that we've been hearing and at the same time the patch itself. The biggest thing that, you know, to kind of like kick us off here, I think we want to, you know, obviously acknowledge everyone's feedback in regards to reducing player power. We know it is bad. We know it is not fun. And it's something that, you know, we ourselves know that it's not the greatest play experience for players out there. We do want to explain why we ended up doing it within the actual patch. And then, of course, we also want to talk about like what we were trying to achieve specifically with this patch and with the changes that players ended up seeing. And then separately, we do want to also talk about how we don't plan on doing a patch like this ever again. We have most definitely heard the feedback from the players on that front. And we do want to talk a little bit about, you know, our philosophy, our own internal.
I am going to try and unlock some things while we're watching.
For ourselves, for future updates for the game itself. And then, of course, we do want to also talk about how we can talk better and communicate with the community better in regards to patches.
How you can communicate, huh?
To the game. And what we can do to improve.
I don't really think it was that bad, to be honest.
So I know that the first thing we do want to talk about, though, as I said, was talking about, you know, why we ended up doing this in this patch. And I do want to throw it over to Mr. Joe Paipora over here to talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I know that we've talked on stream before about, I know, our intentions for Diablo 4 being a game about choice. And part of that is ensuring that the various class options feel that they've got a place in the meta experience. And that kind of goes to some of the changes we made in 1.1. Now, Adam already called out that we've heard the feedback with regard to the patch, and we know that reducing player power is never a good experience in general. And I want to talk through like sort of some of the things that brought us to where we are today in terms of decisions we were making and why. So, a few of the really big changes that were made as part of 1.1. First, really, I guess to cooldown reduction. We changed the amount of CDR that players can get as part of like in the affix ranges and items that are rolling for them as they're going through the experience. CDR is one of the, if not the most powerful stat in many ways in Diablo. It is obvious. When you're able to get CDR to a certain point, when using certain class mechanisms, you're able to get effectively like instantaneous like active skills. So like, that can give you like unlimited resource, it can give you unlimited movement speed, give you unlimited damage resist, and it begins to dwarf the effectiveness of other options when you can start trying to take these things into account. Now, we know that blasting through content with those things is really fun, so it feels really, really painful to have to take some of those things away. And we certainly don't relish the idea. That was the original thinking for these sorts of bits. One of the reasons why we think that these builds are very prevalent at the moment is based upon like the nature of some of the endgame content we have in Diablo IV. In particular, thinking about Nightmare Dungeons especially. The reality is that Nightmare Dungeons are dramatically overtuned from where they actually need to be based upon the place they fill in the role they fill in the game itself. So tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons are excruciatingly difficult for most players most classes to be able to actually get through. And as a result, it begins to kind of winnow the opportunities and options that players have when they begin to engage with content at that tier, such that you really do you need to lean on very, very specific builds, very specific setups, with access to things like near instantaneous cooldowns for some skills in an effort to actually like make it through those spaces. And that was never really the intent of that content. And we see that, right? Players are using Nightmare Dungeons as ways to kind of like level up their glyphs, ways for them to gain experience and loot as they're progressing up. It's largely like a level up system that you're progressing with once you get into world tiers 3 and 4. But they've taken on an outsized role as sort of this new end-game chase opportunity for players who are looking to really challenge themselves. And we love that we want that kind of content and we want that experience for those players. And we feel like we have done a reasonably good job of that with Uber Lilith in the game. But we don't feel that like tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons fulfill the same role at all. Just the nature of the content type doesn't actually work well as that kind of pushing opportunity. So one thing we actually plan on doing, and we'd hope to get out as part of this release, we're going to get out very, very soon, is we're making a reduction in the difficulty of some aspects of Nightmare Dungeons to kind of retune some things. And the goal here is to say that, we think that roughly where you are with like a Nightmare Dungeon tier 70, that's kind of where we actually want the difficulty to be for a tier 100 as players are going through the experience. So there's still a thing to push for, but it's more reasonable. And as part of this exchange, we know that players really like kind of blasting and pushing hard for these sorts of things. They feel like big achievements. We are going to be looking at creating a new content type, a new endgame content type that's going to be more directly meant to address those sorts of players and give people more things to chase. That's part of the commitment to the live services, to make sure that we're always adding new things like this for players to go and try to kind of chase after, to kind of maximize and use their builds in fun and interesting ways. So that's another really big thing.
What of casuals?
A number of changes to the to sorceress skill, sorceress builds in general. That sort of ended up having a net impact of like really reducing their effectiveness with some of their most powerful builds at the moment. And the goal at the time was to try to bring their builds back in line with one another so that we could start trying to bring everything up at once, as opposed to having these things as they are. And this actually leads to a really good conversation about the idea of balance in general. I said before that Diablo IV is a game that is about choice, and that remains our goal. That's our guiding light. We're trying to make decisions on balance and design in general. And sometimes we don't always get it quite right. And I think that we see that with some builds that are just simply not performing to the level they need to be because they just don't have the right interactions with the kind of content or skills that you actually really want to use to get through the game. this is an example of like when we're thinking about our goals in terms of creating this balanced experience where there's lots of interesting choices for players to engage with. We cannot make balanced decisions without kind of accounting for the way that players are going to feel about those things who are playing those classes. Like if our goal is to create an ultimately balanced experience, without regard for how much fun the player's having as part of that exchange, that's ultimately that would be like a failure on our part to not kind of think about things. So we have plans that I know that we're going to talk about a little bit later to kind of address this more clearly. But understand that we've heard this, and we have plans in the very near future to address these sorts of things. Another bit that speaks to this is the change that was made for vulnerable damage. Now, I think that there are a lot of players in the community who like kind of dove deep into a lot of our systems in Diablo IV and kind of see that vulnerable damage is a really outsized role that it plays in terms of a lot of build making. To the point where it feels that you'll get to certain parts of content, creatures sort of need to be vulnerable in order for you to that you can damage them. This is something that we're very aware of, and we made a reduction as part of the 1.1 build that reduced player damage in general because most players rely on many builds, I should say, rely on vulnerable damage to deal to kind of spike in lots of different kinds of content. This is something we also need to talk about. Vulnerable damage is far more potent right now than we actually want it to be in general across the game. I think I've talked about this before. And we need to make a number of, we need to kind of bring these things back in line. But this is a more complicated conversation than simply just saying we can take a bonus damage to vulnerable creatures number and reduce it by 40% in terms of the amount of damage you can accrue across different sources. And have that be the way that we solve this problem. Really, I think we all know that the ultimate problem with damage to vulnerable creatures, the fact is multiplicative stacking on top of the base vulnerable damage, which is already multiplicative on its own. Like this is the reason why the stat plays such an outsized role in a lot of player builds. We're going to need to move that to an additive place, but we can't do that without making a number of other adjustments to critical strike damage, to the way that overpower damage is both calculated and dealt to creatures, and the availability of these things across various builds. There's lots of builds that rely on vulnerable, and they're balanced around the idea that the damage is also multiplicative. So a number of their balance and tuning changes will need to be made in order to be able to bring vulnerable back in line with some of the other options we have out there. So this is how we're kind of thinking about these things moving forward. We want to start trying to be a little more inclusive of all of these decisions when we begin considering which of these balance adjustments we want to make, rather than being in this iterative place where we're making small adjustments to a number of different things along the way with an end goal in mind.
Along the way.
We want to be trying to consider what the experience is going to be like from moment to moment, rather from update to update and release to release to get things in a better spot. So while we do believe that having our season roll gives us the opportunity to kind of reset our meta and change a lot of things, that obviously has an impact on internal players, the way that they kind of perceive the characters they're still playing in that space. And it can be disruptive for players who found a particular playstyle that they're really excited about. So so I know that, Joe, you're going to talk about some of these things in a minute, so this is an awkward handoff, but I just want to make it right. It's a very awkward handoff. Okay. I'm sorry. But I want people to understand that we do hear the things that they're saying. We do plan on making changes in the near future, and just kind of thinking philosophically about how we want to address these things moving forward. And with that, I guess, Joe, would you like to chat about your thinking?
Yeah, so I think it's a great point, a great lead in here. We want, as Adam mentioned, we want to talk about. We kind of talked a little bit about how we got here. We want to talk about what we're going to do about that. I mean, I think one of the really good points you made is like, vulnerable is, for example, vulnerable is like a must-take stat, right? And it would be better if it wasn't a must-take stat.
But more of a build option.
The game will be better when that's the case. Mm-hmm. But if along the way to getting to that, the game is less fun, then we're not fulfilling our obligation to players, right?
That's right.
So I want to talk about our mission statement for the live game, and I think we have yeah, perfect. So there are four parts to this. We're going to start with the first part. We want the live game to always have a wide variety of viable builds to discover, to put together, to acquire the items for, and to optimize across all 5 of our classes. Second point, every season should introduce new items and powers that keep the game fresh and increase build variety. Moving on to the third point, the live game should also have continually evolving end game content. And that content needs to have high monster density for powerful builds to slow down.
Terrible.
And it needs to have activities that challenge your build. And you know, you were just talking about how while Nightmare Dungeons, I'll get to the fourth point in a second. While Nightmare Dungeons are technically challenging your build, they're challenging your build in some ways that are not very fun, right?
Yep.
Like being CC'd all the time.
Yes, that's correct. 20 tiers of Nightmare Dungeons where every monster can one-shot you, and then if you get clipped by one bit of chill, you're permanently snared, right? Or got completely frozen. Like these are not things that the Nightmare Dungeons system is doing particularly well right now in terms of making challenging content.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so important. Your call out that we plan to introduce additional content that fulfills that part of the mission statement to challenge your builds. If we can go back to the screen, I got kind of sidetracked, but I think it was really important.
Got sidetracked by not making a point. Come on, dude.
What we're trying to do is make the game more fun for players, right? Players are at the heart of everything that we're doing. And if the game is not more fun for players, and we're not making the game, if players can't believe that as the game evolves, it will get more fun, then we're not accomplishing our goals either, right? And so the other point I want to go to here is a change that, you know, Adam was talking about. How do we make sure that
just getting waypoints.
This doesn't happen, right? Yep. And so I want to talk about we call it a key process improvement. That's like a weird jargon term. A change that we're making that will help us avoid this situation.
If this guy is responsible for this game, I can't for the second imagine why it's not fun.
This is
He's the most boring human being on the planet.
We make changes to increase build diversity. Our goal, going back to the mission statement, is we want to have a wide variety of viable builds, right? So when we make changes that have the ultimate aim of increasing build diversity, we need to pair those changes with compelling alternatives. And that means that there are some builds that'll be overpowered, and we can't nerf those overpowered builds without providing compelling alternatives for players to pursue.
That's right. It means that things like when we identify that there are a few individual like meta builds or stats that are like really powerful within preseason or within a season, that until we have created those other options and redesigned things around the nature of these and made sure that we've lifted up other options and brought everything in line, we're not going to move on those changes. There's going to be always situations where there are extraordinary outliers, that we're going to want. They're usually relying on like actual bugs that we need to address. But when it comes to like trying to bring things back in line with one another, we want to be able to make sure that we're doing those. When we make those decisions, we have a bevy of other options and alternatives available for players to engage with at the same time. So if players see us taking like a toy away, that we're giving lots of other toys or lifting up other toys, to make them more viable as part of the exchange.
Yeah, and that those toys are
us.
really exciting.
Yes.
So let's go to the second point of this.
Equally exciting toys.
When we make changes like this, it's important for us to make them at predictable times. And Adam's going to talk a little bit more about our communication strategy here in a bit. The start of a season is an especially good time for meta changes to happen because there's a big refresh, everyone is rolling new characters, and there's new seasonal content. Right? And changes like that will also appear in Eternal at the same time. And the third point here, as Joe alluded to, there are certain situations. We saw a case where we had a skill that could do 10 to the 37 damage. In cases like that where the damage is literally breaking the game or crashing the servers, we'll still react to those situations. But that doesn't change the first point here in terms of allowing builds to be overpowered. And I think, one of the things that's important for to recognize and state is that ultimately ARPGs, or some people call them hack and slash games, are about power fantasy, right? And they're about us inviting players to break the game to some extent, not to crash. There are lots of ways to interpret the word break, but and find fun toys that we've made, do crazy things with them, and we need to make sure that we aren't trying to punish players for doing that. Because ultimately that's the playground we built. That's that we built a game that's go find crazy stuff, and we need to make sure that when players take that invitation, that we're not punishing them for that.
That's right.
Yeah, and I know.
Fair enough.
Talking about at least the night.
Kind of crazy that they have to explain this like this.
A little bit more detail.
The whinging on Reddit and everything about this patch.
The one thing I think.
Okay,
really
it's true that the Eternal Realm, you got nerfed, but we don't know the full extent of the Season 1 builds because of the parts of whatever.
Was also supposed to be paired with the.
It's just immediately, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I've taken away my toys. I'm so sad. Just play the fucking game. Who cares?
And it's something that we've learned throughout this process is, as you guys were talking about, that we have ultimate visions for something that is further down the line, and doing that all together at once during those moments, as opposed to doing them over time and whatnot, just leads to a better experience overall for players, and that's something that we most definitely will be doing as we build out,
the fat goots.
Of course, a key component to this is how we communicate to players, and there is been a lot of feedback in regards to hey, it would have been great if we knew some of these changes were coming down the pipe, and it's a hefty amount of patch notes. We could have digested this over a few days beforehand or a week beforehand. So one thing we do want to commit to right now is that
are we seriously back to slowing down?
Always providing patch notes and communicating these patch notes through streams like this, through campfire chats or developer update live streams beforehand, well beforehand, at least a week before the actual update hits. And no matter state, because I know sometimes we're still trying to maybe potentially squeeze in a few different things into patch notes and stuff like that up until the last second, just on the nature of production of how we are. But I will say we do plan on sharing those no matter what to the community going forward, from here on out through a stream or written through blog or something like that beforehand, before players can actually get into game and actually try it out on their end. So at least we can hear feedback and you guys can actually digest the information beforehand. In fact, we do actually have, of course, future updates here that we do want to talk about here really quickly. But one thing that we will commit to right now is that next Friday, so exactly 1 week from now, we'll be back on a live stream, because we will start with that live stream where we will be talking about our next patch that will be coming to Diablo 4. We'll talk a little bit about some of the details here, but we'll go into more detail next Friday specifically. But we will be back on here to kind of go through the whole entire patch notes with everyone beforehand, so everyone has a better expectation of what they're going to be seeing in the actual update, and they can talk to us through chat, through devs, or through social media, through Reddit, through our forums, etc. beforehand, before the actual patch hits. So we will get times and remind everyone, of course, throughout the week that we will have another campfire chat to talk about patch 111, since we just shipped 110, 111. But we do want to talk a little bit about patch 111 today, just because there are some items that we are aware of that we know will be of interest to players specifically when it comes to things that they've been asking for, and at least it gives you guys a little bit of an early preview of some stuff that's coming down the road. I think one big thing that everyone has been kind of talking about as of late from this current patch is like some of the sorcerer and barbarian items and stuff like that, and how we've obviously tuned a lot of classes down, and there's questions of like, hey, is there any changes in the future for those two?
Yeah, we're taking a long look at a lot of the sorceress and barbarian aspects that aren't being like utilized very well right now, and trying to lift a lot of those back up. So there's going to be a wide range of like legendary power and unique item improvements for these two classes in particular. We're taking a look at a lot of things, but we're really honing in specifically on sorceress first, and then also getting a lot of barbarian updates in there at the same time. And this is
Nice.
again, this is for 1.1.1.
Correct.
So the very next patch and cycle.
Yeah, and we expect that patch, obviously if we're having a live stream now, next Friday, we expect that patch here in the next like couple weeks or so, so at least you guys can get an early preview on it.
Yeah, and on that Friday, we'll be talking a lot about like the specifics of all of those changes and kind of hearing what the community says.
Yep.
It feels like
in fact, the Nightmare Dungeon items that we were just talking about just now, that's actually, we're planning on actually rolling that out in a hotfix. Specifically, and that is something that we actually plan on rolling out later today. So we'll have more
Today?
information
My
on
God.
the Nightmare Dungeon changes that will be.
Let's do
that
some
we
more
talked about
fucking server
earlier that
work,
will
huh?
be coming out later today via hotfix. Another big thing that we've talked about in patch notes, because we've toned
Keep
it
choosing
down,
the wrong people to hit.
and now we're kind of and we had mentioned that to players that we did plan on bringing it back up. It is monster density. In Nightmare Dungeons and Helltide. So I know that you guys had some plans and so forth related to that.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to the mission statement I mentioned earlier, a key part of the live game is having high density areas for players to mow down, right?
Key part of ARPGs, right?
Key part, of which Diablo IV is one.
That's true.
Pardon my grammar. And so we're going to be increasing the density in Nightmare Dungeons substantially, and we're going to be increasing the density in Helltide as well.
Nice.
Now, with the Nightmare Dungeon changes across the board for Nightmare Dungeons, all Nightmare Dungeons will get more dense. The Helltide change, there are certain areas of Helltide that are extremely dense, right?
Yeah.
Like the tar pits, for example, is very dense. Areas like that probably won't get more dense. And part of what we've been doing here at the same time in terms of these density changes is making sure that we're making performance improvements, like looking at player skills that are taking a lot of time on the servers, getting those into a better performance so players have better frame rates and stuff, and fewer stalls, and all these kinds of things that make the game more fun to play. And this also helps us increase the number of, like, more monsters, more players, more stuff going on. And we know that the density in Nightmare Dungeons in particular needs to go up. And so we've been working on that to make sure that we can accomplish that. So density in Helltide will go up, not uniformly. Density in Nightmare Dungeons will go up uniformly, and these will be substantial increases.
Which I know players have been talking about constantly, wanting additional density on this.
Right, rightly so.
And a big topic right now is inventory concerns. We've heard from players. I know we've talked about gems and so forth actually becoming materials in Season 2, which to help out with some inventory concerns specifically. I know you guys have information, at least in regards to stash, and what might be coming in 1.1.1.
Yes. So certainly the gem change is still coming in Season 2, like you said, but we need more stash help now, right? And so in 1.1.1, we're going to be adding an additional stash tab for players so they can store more aspects, more malignant hearts.
Yeah, this has been like an ongoing conversation every week inside the dev team. of like, do we feel that we're ready to do this yet? Do we feel that we're ready to do this yet? Like the density conversation and the stash tab conversation, like the engineering team's been working really, really hard to be able to like make these adjustments possible for us. Like
this is literally ridiculous. Why does this game destroy everything so badly?
What else can we do? And what else can we be doing to try to improve the experience? But like we've definitely heard these two concerns, and we're just really happy to be able to bring them in as early as 1.1.1.
What's next? Supreme Pit Fighter Weapon Mastery
along
Skill.
with the stash tab, we're making a small change to elixir stack size. We're going to bring that up to 99. So that'll help a little bit.
Awesome. Obviously, like with new
Weapon
starts to
mastery,
seasons, and if we do have
Thick
these
skin,
sorts of,
Pit Fighter.
changes that
Plus damages and damage reduction. Fine.
whether it's
Good.
the meta or the
Love it.
balance of specific things, there's been questions related to respecs and how that has been pretty expensive on people's like their own personal economies with gold and so forth. I know we have respec changes that are also coming with the game itself. You guys probably know more specifics on the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, this really goes back. Joe was talking about our commitment to choice earlier, and it also, but I think it also goes back to, when we say in the mission statement we want to have a wide variety of viable builds. Great, but if you can't switch between those builds, then it still feels punishing, right? So we're going to bring respec costs down by about 40%, quite a bit.
Cool. Yeah, so it should help out with people that want to switch over to a different build and so forth, or they do have to adjust over to another build. They get the option of actually being able to do so, or have an easier option of being able to do so.
And that'll be in 1.1.1.
And that'll be in 1.1.1 as well. So, and then I know, lastly, like one big thing is, as players kind of progress through the game and the leveling curve kind of goes through, especially like post like 70 or so, we've been looking at the player journey and how they've been getting up to 100. I know there's some changes that you guys are looking at in terms of like experience and so forth from that end.
Yeah, I mean, the short version is we want to make leveling from 50 to 100 faster by adjusting XP. I don't know if you have.
I realized when I was talking earlier about the changes we made. Obviously, we also made the change to XP gain when fighting creatures above your level, and I failed to mention this discussing it.
Yeah.
So the original intent for that was we found players basically sitting at like fighting creatures like 3 levels above them and never felt like they were really challenging themselves beyond that. We wanted to stretch that out a bit further, but that went from a 25% bonus to a 15% bonus. And we knew that density changes were coming online, so we thought about this a little bit. But I read a lot of feedback, like afterwards in particular, that just made it sound like people thought that we were just trying to make the game take longer, which wasn't actually the goal, but realized that the 25% to 15% change did constitute a nerf as a result of that. It's the thing that we're thinking about as well.
We are not trying to slow down the game.
No, and to that point, like we have a vision for how long we want the game to take for players. We realize that it's taking a little. When you hit like level 70 or something, right? Like there's not like these moments where you're going to feel like you just can't, or 75. Like we don't want you to have this feeling that you just can't.
What is this mess? What is this mess?
It's never been the vision or the goal, right? It ended up working out that it wasn't the players weren't earning XP at the rate that we had originally expected. Is what it really came down to. So these are like we are making changes in this regard to kind of bring this down a bit. Yeah.
And I mean, you've seen certainly we did things like increase the XP bonus for Nightmare Dungeons a while back quite substantially.
Yeah, and Whisper Completion, Helltide chests. Yeah.
Now, notwithstanding that, there are changes to XP related to addressing the power leveling case, because we don't have like group up, have fun with your friends, like power leveling each other. The only case that we think is not very fun is the case where one person is standing at the entrance to the dungeon and the other person is having all the fun killing monsters.
Yeah.
And so, when we look at the balance of the XP changes in 1.1.0, we think that additional changes need to be made to make the game faster, especially
Yeah,
between 50 and 100.
Yeah, we want
Exactly
level
what you
1 to 100 to feel like an achievement, but not like a job.
Yeah.
Right. So like we want to make some adjustments to make sure that it feels fun, very achievable, obviously within the season timeline. But
No, it's just not.
yeah,
It's
there
just
are
unviable
adjustments
to have
we
this
talked
on
about.
at the
I think
same
we can
time.
talk about more probably next week in
Yeah.
terms of with more specificity.
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
soon.
Yep. So again, we'll be back on stream next Friday to talk about all the details of the changes, including the barb and like sorcerer changes that Joe had mentioned, along with other changes that we are preparing right now for the patch itself. That patch itself is supposed to be hitting in the next couple weeks. Obviously, if we're doing the stream on Friday, it means it's coming pretty darn soon for after that stream. So, but we did want to make sure that we got in front of players to actually talk to them about everything, and we plan on doing that going forward. If we ever have one of these larger patches that actually make some pretty significant changes within the game, we'll either get in front of you guys via stream, or we'll end up posting about them earlier so that you guys get a better idea of what's to come for those. I know that we do want to take some questions, a bunch of questions actually from chat and so forth. I know one big question that has always kind of come up has been about leaderboards and so forth within, and the expectation of when those might be coming in. I know that ideally we're aiming for
Leaderboards. God, people are competitive turds.
I don't know if you guys have any like additional.
Who cares? Just
like,
play the game.
Additional insight onto those from your end.
Yeah, so one thing that's really important to us for leaderboards in Diablo 4 is that we don't think that like tying this directly to Nightmare Dungeons or content type exactly like that is going to make a lot of sense because the variety of the nature of the system. So we want to make a content type that kind of partners directly with leaderboards so that you can be judged in kind of like this kind of more even playing field when you're going through that experience. But that is content that we are actively in development on and are excited to try to get ready for Season 3. So we're going to be making, I'm sorry, the short answer to this is, so we excited about our competitive feature. We are making a specific content type that goes alongside that you're judging yourself against, and we're looking for Season 3 for that.
Question from You Stupid Walrus is Uber Uniques, what's the future? They mathematically don't exist, so I don't think it's a good waste of resources of them anymore.
Sorry, I was really distracted by the walrus.
Okay.
Can you read the question again?
Uber Uniques.
Oh, right.
What's the future? They mathematically don't exist, so I don't think it's good to waste resources on them in the future.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, Uber Uniques are designed in such a way that they are a huge spike of power, and we're receiving feedback, and we understand the feedback on some of them. But they represent a huge spike of power, and as such are not expected to be part of builds necessarily. One of our goals underlying is we don't want players to feel that one of these are mandatory that you must find in an effort to bring your build online. From the ground up, we kind of made the decision to say it is okay if we want players to find these, but we don't want them to expect to find these. Which is a difficult place to balance in terms of drop rates when you're thinking about these.
Gonna be right
now, I
back.
believe that they are exceedingly rare, and we do want them to feel.
You know what I mean? I'm just kinda like.
As I mentioned earlier in the stream, I think we both talked about.
All right, try that now. I've just realized that OBS had the browser source using hardware acceleration, which is not what I want. Stay away from my graphics card.
The tools that you have for crowd control are not need to be better, basically. And some of that is going to be adjustments to things that feel unfair, and some of that is going to be adjustments in terms of your tools. I think that we'll be able to, this is something that we'll be able to speak more to in terms of specifics and how we're going to address that, but we agree it's a problem in the future. Yeah.
Question from I'm so bad. IK Recoat. I tried. I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry. When will loadouts be added?
Yeah, it's a feature that the UI team is very excited about, and something we've talked about a bit internally. We don't have a timeline for the idea of loadouts just yet, but it is something that we're continuing to actively talk about. When we have more information to share in terms of like when something like this could potentially be added to Diablo 4, I'm sure that we'll talk about it.
Barag0 says.
All right, I think I've seen enough. Let's turn that off. Go back to the game. With that off, is there any hope that VC Face will work? That doesn't look great. Doesn't look great, but maybe. No. Alright, so we're going to have to close Diablo because it's taken all the resources and won't give it back. I just love how just closing Diablo 4 crashes my entire computer pretty much every time. It's a miracle. Oh, let's get me up. Hello, where am I? Seriously, is nothing working? It's all broken now. There. Why is that taking 15 minutes? And now Diablos. Come on, Diablos. Let us continue. With a knick-knack paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Boom. Boom. Got it. Like, that's the other thing about being punished for playing solo. If you die, you have to revive and you lose 10% of your health. If you die in a group and someone revives you, you do not lose anything. You don't. And why? Why wouldn't that count as a revive in the nightmare dungeons? Why doesn't that take 10% if you die? Why does hanging out with friends mean you don't have to fucking be careful? That sound, there we go. There we go indeed.
Greetings.
Greetings, someone says. Walk off. The radiant.
Not while I'm in town.
While you're in town, got it. Still can't. Am I still in town apparently? What is going on? Still thinks I'm in town.
I can't do that here.
Still thinks I'm in town. I've done all my, I think I've done all the, Stellars, yep. Just need to hit 25 and we've done finished that one. There we go, now it's working. Where are you at, Ormond?
Ah, at last. Come, I found something.
What have you found? In my fucking gold. What have you found?
A hall of records, hidden under the old archive. The monks documented every discovery they made. That'll include our cages of binding, I'm sure of it.
You sure of
There's
it,
an
huh?
entrance down in the crypt. I can open it, but there are things down there.
Oh no,
Nothing
things.
you can't handle, though.
Oh no, things. Don't like things. Things are dangerous. Two-handed bludgeoning weapon, two-handed sharpening weapon, blah 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 weapon, and blah blah blah.
The cages are the answer. If I can learn to use them properly, learn what went wrong, we will have our cure.
Where's the fucking... Where's the elite that's giving these guys fucking powers? Oh, there he is. There he is! Yeah, yeah! Give me my money. I want all my money. Nothing else? Nothing else? No sneaky little chests? Kill them all. Are you doing that? You're a bit late, mate. Get up. Oh, did you kill him? Oh, but I still kept my...
I must wait. Ah, motherfucker, die, motherfucker, die. What you doing hiding in here? Dying is what you're doing. You're dying. It's behind the sealed door.
I will open it. Just a moment. Hold them back!
Hero generation going.
I did it! Inside now! Quickly!
Oh, really quickly. Why? What's the rush, bro? Each side of resurgent life. Oh yeah, that's the usual one. Okay, okay. Keeping organized, keeping organized. Fuck you for wrecking my shit. Fuck you.
I'm not ready yet.
Turn around to hit that, but it didn't. It didn't work. I failed.
I'm out of fury.
Fury.
Untouched by fire. Thank the light. The Hall of Records must be intact.
Rusted though.
Almost
You're
there.
sure of that?
Just down this corridor.
Check everything first.
Let's hurry.
What? Let's hurry. You fucking growled at us and blew up the floor. Oh, sneaky little chest. I'll take it. Oh, looks like an upgrade. Lasky.
Here we are. Look for any mention of cages of binding. Search the shelves, crates. Rip up the damned floor if you have to. The
Why would it be under the floor?
is here.
What you talking about, Willis? The sigils of Dendas, dated roughly 1000, found 1245 in the ashes of old Tristram. A Roderick ritual for the attunement of demonic energies. Cages of Binding, 1236, found in Hawazard, distributed among the Zakarum outpost there, confiscated by order of... We found it. I found an entry on the cages.
The cages were created in Hawazar, an invention of old Zakarum. I knew it. We must find this outpost of theirs. I'll ready the wagon.
What?
No!
Gorma.
It's found me!
Wait.
Leave him be. Nonsense. Will you stop with this nonsense? Calm yourself, sir. What has he done to me?
What was that?
I've got a shield. Where did I get a barrier from? Capture the malignant heart. So we have to do all that again? Of course we do.
Strange.
Outside the crypts of Obey. Is that where I am? Unknown. Yes, he's out here somewhere. The fool. What you're doing out here, you're going to get yourself hurt. Killed. That treacher came for you, care to explain?
His name is Farshin. He was my mentor, my priest, until the day Lilith came to our village. Her words drove our people mad, turned them against us. I begged Farshin to run, but he refused to abandon them, so I left him behind.
You left him! You left him!
My guilt I searched for a way to cure my people. Soon, I found Obey, found the cages.
What happened after that?
I returned home to a ruined village. Varshan was the only one left, driven mad by Lilith. So I took one of the cages and I tried to remove his corruption. But I did something wrong. The corruption burst out of him, consumed him, body and soul. It has spread to everyone he's touched. Varshan is the source of the malignant. All of this is my fault.
Well, then you must die. You should have told me.
I know that now, and I am truly sorry. But you must understand, I only wanted to save the people I love. And we still can. With a better cage, we can remove Varshan's corruption, curing him and all the malignant after. I'm going to Hawazar to find it. I hope you'll meet me there.
I will do that, perhaps. It probably wants number 3 or something. Nice. Beautiful. Goodbye. Goodbye, Cormond. You're just gonna unhappily walk there? There you go. Near Zarbenzet. Alright, let's keep doing it. Let's keep going so long as it wants to give us something. I wonder when the next... Oh, is that the war boss? Oh, Legion event. Do a Legion event. 4 minutes. I guess so. I guess so, why not? What's stopping us? It gives pretty good XP, I think.
I can't do that here.
Why not? Does your horse understand it's in the town? Just dig the spurs in, bro. Okay, excuse me, fellas. Don't mind me. Come through. Take an artillery shrine.
I need more time.
I need more rage. Yay, lag. Lag.
Hello.
Greetings.
Not my voice.
Greetings.
Greetings. We have gone Point Dexter. How rude.
Look.
No, I refuse to look. Am I allowed to? Do I have any consumables? I don't. I have nothing. I've got nothing. And now we wait. While we lose our fury. Has any complete arsenal weapon? I'm good. I don't want to trade with you. Rupture. Hero destroyer. Interesting. Guess it depends on, like, so that's 273, that's 284. That would be the better one, I guess. Turn 9. 8 of the 7, 6 5s. Ow, how dare you?
Hello.
How dare you?
I'm not ready yet.
Damn, didn't kill him.
I must wait.
Bastards who don't die. It's so rude. What have I gotten myself into?
Greetings.
Level 23. How did that miss?
Hello.
Hello. Is it me I'm looking for? Here we're all ready to go. Nice. I thought we killed the guy.
I'm out of fury.
No, his voice changes.
I'm not ready yet.
Man, didn't kill him. Mistakes. Mistakes have been made. Where's he gone? He's just done. He's out of here. Doesn't want anything to do with it. such a delay every time. Everything I do is a slight delay. I think if that's supposed to be that way, but it's a little bit weird.
Greetings.
Not ready yet.
The Overlord has returned. What have I done to you apart from smash you constantly? Huh? You asshole? Beautiful, lovely. Love your work, people.
I'll be seeing you.
Back to where I was going. Zabinzit. Alright, so we need to know what the next on the thing is. Pit fighter level 2, level 3. Okay. I'll allow it. Pit fighter level 2, level 3. And what's going to be after that? Tempered Fury is my ultimate skill. Wait, did I... Another ultimate skill? Oh, it's here. Right, it's this shit. Gotcha. Gotcha. Where are we going? Hang on. Before we're going anywhere, let's see what we've got. Junk. That's a pretty big upgrade. Pretty good too. I mean, I guess it's kind of an upgrade, why not? Yeah. Basic skill, overpower damage, critical strike. Yeah. No. Nope. It's a nothing. It's a nothing.
You can still use these.
Can I now? What's this do? Damage over time, damage taken reduction, shadow resistance. I'll just this. Hey, what's this? Life on kill. Fuck it. Life on kill will do. Let's go talk to this Ned. The Ned. Yeah, smell my ass. Why didn't the cage capture Varshan?
Varshan's grown too powerful. Without a stronger cage, we'll never be able to cure him.
What's our next move?
In Obey, we saw that the cages of binding came from Zakarum's strongholds in Hawazar. There are 3 nearby that might hold answers. If you find anything, please bring it to me.
Collect Crusader missives near Crusader's Monument. Collect Paladin Prayer Book near Iraman's Pyre. Collect Tithe Ledger near Zakarum and Belfry. Oh, I see. That's all over the place. Okay, that requires level 35. That's 35. And this one is a dungeon. Oh, that's interesting. I am only 25. I'm not even 25. Necromancer. Because he's a necromancer. Because he's a vampire. He's a vampire. Let's see where we do it, man. Alright, so we got level 25 on that one. Buy items for the Purveyor of Curiosity. I'm not going to do that. I need to conquer strongholds. Yeah, whispers. Elixirs. Imprint and aspect. Wrathful Malignant Invoker. I don't know how to use that, to be honest. Alright, hang on. I'm going back into Zarbin Zet. What's the stuff they wanted me to do? I've already forgotten. Purveyor of Curiosities. That I can do. Where is he here? Down there. Or she? Where are they?
Look around us. Everything rotting.
Don't stray too far from these walls,
Yeah,
wanderer.
I'm listening. Don't worry, man. I'm
The
listening to
plateau
every
sees
word
all
you say.
manner of strange.
Every word you say. Where is he? Oh, he's there. What's my lowest? 295, 288, 272, 245. $245. Pants. $40.
I don't have the coin.
I have to do. Okay, have I got enough? No, not enough for a key.
Until next time.
Nice, done. It's a pretty big upgrade. Hey, first legendary. Each point of fury generated while at maximum fury grants 2 fortify. Bum. Bum. So that did that. Beautiful. Craft elixirs and imprint an aspect. Let me see if I can get my build guide up. About crafting, what aspects I'm supposed to have. Long term. Bit early to worry about this kind of shit, but where is it? There we go. So that one I got was rubbish. Let's see, let's put an aspect on something. If we can. Just to,
Snakes know things.
just to
They
make
know
things
me.
move along a bit, you know?
I see it in their eyes.
What if
Always
I
in the
go
dark. Always beckoning.
stone pin?
You ever felt that?
I've got one thing. After spending 200 mana, your next firewall? I haven't been given a single aspect. Gotcha. For amulet, at least. Alright, what's my highest level? 295. It was something here. 317. Got one thing. Charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 50% of normal damage. I don't have charge. Well, shit. What about boots? Okay. How much is this going to cost me? Let's just do it. Who cares? Who cares? That just ticks that off. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Craft elixirs at the alchemist.
A traveler. Where are you from? What's it like?
It's level 30.
No, don't tell me. I'll see for myself. Oh, and I've got the coin
Attack
to leave.
speed's not bad. Cold
Seems
resist
like
not
anywhere's
bad.
better than here.
No, it's rubbish. I mean, attack speeds are good. Yeah, attack speed. Can I just make 4 of these? Waste all my fucking stuff? I think I had to make 5, right? Bubbly brewer. Yeah, I had to make 5.
I can mix anything you like.
Do one of these. Beautiful. Can I even consume these? Yeah, I can. Sorry. Why didn't that count? It did. I just didn't see it go by. 10 whispers caches. Alright, okay. Not bad. That's level 30. That's easy to do, but we'll worry about it later. Actually, worry about it now. We'll just upgrade the 2 legendaries we have to level 2 if we've got the materials. And that'll be that out of the way.
Running through the streets screaming bloody murder.
One, two.
Rare to have
One,
something
two.
so fine.
Boom. We just cook them with gas. We just need 2 more of these and we would have done the objectives for 3. For chapter 3. Whispers caches seems to be the main thing. I don't know how to do a wrathful thing. And the strongholds are sort of waiting. Hey, I did get a scout. Where did I get scouted Prism Song? I haven't killed world bosses, and every treasure goblin I've tried to kill has disappeared. Just vanished off the face of the planet. And what's this shit? Level control, level 40. Alright, so something else. I wish this would go away. It annoys me. So, this is waiting for like 25 at least. It's going to be a bit tricky to do it at 24, whatever I am. In fact, yeah, I'm not even... So, do we try and do maybe this dungeon? 4 minutes, damn it. Oh, minutes. How about no, 18 minutes. 1 hour and 2 minutes. Maybe I'll start doing these. I need, what, 8? Need 8 grim favors. I don't know. I don't know which ones I want to do. I just want to do one thing, and I'm going to go to bed. I'm really quite tired for some reason. That's exhausting. Let's do this one. How often do I just not go to the fucking blacksmith these days? Unfortunately, there's one right here. Where's one right here?
I saw eyes
Oh, in
in the
here.
darkness of the forest before I reached down. Glowing eyes.
Need something forged?
I saw the eyes. The eyes. No Strava Deepwood.
Not while I'm in town.
Yes, alright, I get it. I understand. Just quickly do this cellar too, because, well, yeah, I'll do the cellar.
I'm not ready yet.
That'll be quick, and I only need one more cellar after I do the dungeon to finish the whispers. The lakeside retreat. Oh, very, very retreaty. Crushed beast bones. Gotten ourselves into. You have reached your destination. Get out of it, you crow. How did that miss? Like, it only lets me use it if I'm aiming on a fucking mob. Stupid. Really died. So how does it miss? Thought I was pointing at the right.
I must wait.
Do not run, I am your friend.
I'm not ready yet.
What am I stuck on? Oh, I thought I kill him. God dang it. Didn't kill him. Wasted my thing. Wait, is his charge? No, it's leap.
I must wait.
Get him out of here. That was all of them? What was up here? Nothing. Just misery and sadness. Cool. Surely there's something up here. Nothing. Get out of my way. Fair enough. Fair enough. What was that? Something? Oh, it was just the lid that fell off.
Please turn back. We have tracked the undead to these woods. They attacked our camp a few nights ago. I awoke to the cries of other loggers being dragged away into the night. We followed the blood and limbs back here. I can hear the screams of the unlucky ones still alive. I can't leave them. But I doubt I'll make it out of these woods. Tell me.
I chose Cool. I didn't. And I got my fucking thing back somehow. By some miracle. Is that not killing? He's got no shields. He's just an ordinary little mob. Do.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay. That was risky. He may not have died.
Yet.
Oh, he was a malignant motherfucker. Good on him. How does that not kill him? Again, minions. How dare ye? How dare ye? Beautiful. Yeah, probably. What's up there? Okay. Let us deal with this nerd. Why aren't you fucking hitting them? There's another path up there, probably where the other guy was, and this will be the wrong way. Yeah, that's right. Snakes.
I'm not ready yet.
Apparently didn't slay enough enemies, huh? Well, I'm outraged. I am outraged, you see? Alright, we continue. There's the boss. Why did I press 3? That must be insane. Oh, that was the end of the done? Okay. I thought we were going to be moving on to a different area. Wow, I can't. Shit on the ground. Don't worry.
I must wait.
He didn't die. He was down to like 20% health when I hit him. Being 25. Yatches. Alright, what's down here? It's gonna lead to the other area? Probably. Oh, I can't jump over there, really. Why aren't you hitting anyone? Lovely. Very lovely. That should be it, right? No, there's a whole extra section still. Whoa! You're knocked up.
I'm not ready yet.
And the whole section now. Quickly look at that one. That's it, right? Good enough. Why am I still hurting? And we need one more fucking... There's a cellar somewhere I can do. What about that one? No. What about this one? Da-da-da. Yep, we're full. We're full. Full is full. Just put a couple of things in. Who cares? Who cares? It's all going to get thrown out soon enough anyway. Yeah. Ah, what was I doing next? I don't remember. So we've done, let's see. We did 3 pit fighters, yep, and now we want tempered fury, ultimate skill. There it is. And 3 levels of that. Okay. Okay. Alright then. Quickly go to the fucking blacksmith. If the lag will let us.
I can break that down.
Let's go get our cellar done. And then straight onto the whispers.
We do what we can for them.
but the evil that infests
Do
that
what
temple.
we must because
not
we
easily cured.
can. For the good of all of
Wolves
us,
have lived in
except
the
the
shade
ones
the
who
past
are
1,000
dead.
years. The oasis is beautiful, but more than that, it felt.
Oh, no, I'm listening. Trust me. I've heard every word you said, as relayed from my sorceress. Hello. Nice try. Nice try, game. Oh, it's a foul grotto. What have the evoker aligned with the tunnel we don't plan on visiting? What? How do you know what things it's gonna have?
I need time to do that.
Yeah, stop.
I need more time.
Flick. Little flick. Beautiful. And now we go to our whispers. And now over to the studio and the whispers. In Adventure World here. Adventure World, we go hard, we go hard. Lag, oh my god, the lag, it's destroyed everything as always. Why does it do that? Why does changing zones cause it to take all the resources of my computer?
It is done.
I don't know, I don't think it matters.
Service fit for a king.
Could be an upgrade, 320. Hmm, 310. Yeah, that one. So bad.
That looks worn. I can fix it. I can break that
That's
down.
where we're gonna leave it. With its fucking lag and its wrecking everything. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for existing. Au revoir. Goodbye.